Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going deep today on image restoration, or IR.
IR.
Yeah. Um, so, eh, so this is something that, most people encounter every day.
Uh-huh.
I mean, when you're looking at those super crisp images online,
Right.
or, even in medical imaging, all this is thanks to
Mm.
IR.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is that while, IR is so prevalent,
Yeah.
actually measuring how well these models are performing hasn't been super straightforward in the past.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of like you're trying to judge like two chefs without tasting their food.
Right.
You need some kind of standard to be able to compare them.
Right.
And that's really what this research paper exploring real and synthetic dataset and linear attention and image restoration is tackling.
Okay, so they're setting a new standard for these image restoration models.
Exactly. They're putting forth this new benchmark.
Okay.
And to do that, they've introduced two major contributions.
Okay.
The first is the ReSyn dataset. Okay.
And the second is this new model called RWKV-IR.
Mm-hmm.
So you can think of ReSyn as like this huge, meticulously curated photo album used to train
Okay.
IR models. And then you can think of RWKV-IR as a really, really efficient tool that can use this album to restore images with really impressive accuracy.
Okay. So like training a master chef,
Uh-huh.
but with like the best ingredients and the best kitchen possible.
Exactly. Yeah, like giving them
Yeah.
all the resources they need
Yeah.
to produce the best results.
Yeah. Okay. So how often, I mean, I know I've definitely run into this. How often does it happen where like you download a picture and it's like blurry or pixelated?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
all the time. I think everyone's encountered that.
Yeah.
And a big reason that happens is because a lot of the times the AI models that are being used for image restoration are actually trained on data sets that don't accurately reflect the complexity of real-world images.
Okay.
So it's like,
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. It's like teaching someone to paint a landscape, but only showing them, simple shapes.
right,
They're going to struggle when they're faced with like the intricate details of a real scene.
right. So they need like a crash course in complexity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is where ReSyn comes in.
Okay.
So they've used this technique called the gray level co-occurrence matrix, or GLCM. And this is basically to measure complexity.
No.
You can kind of imagine if you're looking at like a close-up of fabric.
Okay.
The GICM helps us understand how the individual threads, or like the pixels in an image,
Okay.
are woven together to kind of create that texture and that detail.
So it's more detailed than just saying, oh, is this many colors?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where the old metric of like bits per pixel, or BPP, kind of falls short.
Yeah.
It only tells you about color depth. It doesn't tell you about the actual complexity of the image.
Okay, and this ReSyn data set, is it using real images or AI-generated images?
So it's actually using a mix of both.
Okay. Why?
Which is really fascinating because we're seeing more and more AI-generated content in our
Totally.
everyday lives now.
Yeah.
And so by training these models on synthetic images as well,
Okay.
it actually helps them better understand and restore the images that we're actually going to encounter online.
So it's like preparing the AI for the future of imaging.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
giving it that broader
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
And they didn't just, throw in any random AI-generated image.
Right.
They actually put them through multiple filters. They looked at resolution. They did blur detection, noise suppression, and of course that GLCM metric. So it's like a very rigorous selection process.
Okay, so we've got this amazing new data set, ReSyn.
Mm-hmm.
How are we actually using that to create better image restoration?
So that's where the second star of the show, RWKV-IR, comes in.
Okay.
And this is all about efficiency and effectiveness.
Okay.
And the way that it achieves that is by using something called a linear attention mechanism.
Now, I have to admit, linear attention mechanism sounds a little intimidating.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Can we break that down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So imagine you're reading a book.
Okay.
You don't focus on like every single letter,
Right.
right? Your attention is drawn to the words and the sentences that are conveying the meaning.
Yeah.
So similarly, traditional models using something called global attention,
Okay.
they analyze like every single pixel,
Okay.
which can be really accurate,
Right.
but also computationally expensive.
Yeah, so it's like reading a book letter by letter.
Yeah, exactly.
Very thorough,
Yeah.
but it's going to take forever.
It's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
RWKV-IR, on the other hand, takes kind of a smarter approach.
Okay.
It uses this linear approach where it focuses on the relationships between pixels.
Okay.
Kind of like how your eye naturally scans a photo for those most important details.
So it's like speed reading, but for images.
Yeah.
Getting the gist, but still understanding the important parts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And this efficiency comes from two key innovations within RWKV-IR.
Okay, I'm ready.
So the first one is the Depth-wise Convolution shift, or DC shift.
Okay.
And you can think of this like if you're trying to sharpen a blurry photo. Instead of looking at pixels that are scattered all over the image, DC shift focuses on neighboring pixels.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like using a magnifying glass to sharpen like the details of a very specific area.
So it's like switching from a wide-angle lens to a macro lens.
Exactly.
Okay.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And then the second innovation is the Cross-Bi-WKV module.
Okay.
And this ensures that the model is actually paying attention to both horizontal and vertical relationships between pixels.
Okay.
So it's not just looking at things from one direction. It's getting like a more balanced and holistic view of the image.
Okay, so it's like looking at a painting from different angles.
Exactly.
To really understand it.
To get the full picture. And because of these innovations, RWKV-IR consistently outperforms other state-of-the-art methods in tests.
Wow.
Which is really impressive.
So we've got this great data set, ReSyn. We've got this very efficient model, RWKV-IR. How does this new benchmark actually measure how good these models are?
That's a great question, and that's where it gets even more interesting. So it doesn't just look at the final results.
Okay.
It also considers how quickly a model can achieve those results.
Oh, interesting.
So imagine you have two runners finishing a marathon. One takes 5 hours.
Okay.
The other takes 10.
Okay.
They both cross the finish line.
Right.
But the faster one is clearly more efficient.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So a model that takes forever to restore an image isn't really that useful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So by factoring in this convergence speed, it provides a much fairer and more meaningful way to compare these different IR models.
Gotcha. So it's like judging a chef not only on the taste of the dish, but also on how quickly they can prepare it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's looking at the whole process.
Okay. So do we have any real-world examples of how these models perform?
Yeah, so the paper does include some really fascinating visual comparisons.
Okay.
For instance, they show how RWKV-IR can effectively remove like those pesky compression artifacts from JPEG images.
Oh, yeah.
You know when you download a picture and it looks all blocky and pixelated?
Oh, yeah, I know that all too well.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to like, download high-res images and it's just like...
Yeah, for design projects, it's like...
Exactly. And so this research suggests that models like this could really help address that issue.
Oh, wow.
Leading to, higher quality images across the web.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to like zoom in on an image and not lose any detail.
That'd be awesome.
Even if it's been compressed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just about pretty pictures, though. You mentioned medical imaging earlier.
Yeah. I mean, think about the impact that this could have in healthcare.
Yeah.
Being able to restore like damaged or low resolution medical images could significantly improve diagnoses and treatment plans.
Wow.
It's like giving doctors a clearer lens to see what's going on.
Yeah, so earlier and more accurate diagnoses.
Exactly.
Potentially saving lives.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And the applications go even further. Think about astronomy, where you're trying to capture like these high-resolution images of distant galaxies.
Right.
Or satellite imagery, where we're relying on these clear images to, understand our planet better.
Wow. So this research has the potential to like revolutionize how we work with images in so many different fields.
I think so. I think it's really laying the groundwork for a future where image restoration is just more powerful, more efficient, and more accessible than ever before.
So to recap, we've got this new benchmark that looks at both speed and quality. We've got this robust data set that reflects real-world image complexity. And we've got this super efficient model that uses linear attention.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like hitting a home run.
It seems like it.
In the world of image restoration.
And it seems like this is just the beginning.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that this is just the start. As researchers continue to build on this foundation, we can expect to see even more groundbreaking advancements in this field.
So for those listening at home, how do you think these advances in image restoration might affect your lives?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? I mean, will we see, a surge in ultra-realistic AI-generated images, will medical diagnoses become even more accurate thanks to these enhanced imaging techniques? Will we be able to unlock even more secrets of the universe through these restored astronomical images?
It's crazy to think about all the possibilities.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away with all the amazing potential benefits,
Yeah.
we also had to consider the other side of the coin.
Right. Of course.
What about like the potential downsides?
Yeah. I mean, that's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
As these models become more sophisticated, more capable of generating increasingly realistic images, it really does raise some important questions about, authenticity and trust.
Exactly. Like, what if anyone can just create like a hyper-realistic image or video that's basically indistinguishable from the real thing?
Yeah.
Like, what happens to our ability to determine truth from falsehood?
Yeah, it's a valid concern. The line between reality and fabrication could become increasingly blurred.
Right.
And that could, potentially lead to the spread of misinformation or even malicious manipulation.
It's like we're entering this new era of like visual skepticism.
Yeah.
Where you can't really take anything you see at face value.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to need to develop new tools and strategies for verifying the authenticity of images and videos, and maybe even rethink our fundamental assumptions about what constitutes visual evidence.
Yeah. It's a fascinating challenge, but also kind of daunting. But it's something that we can't ignore as this technology keeps advancing.
Definitely not.
It seems like with every leap forward in AI, there's like a corresponding need for a leap forward in our critical thinking skills.
Absolutely. I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And it's not just about individual responsibility either.
Right.
We need to have these open conversations and collaborations between researchers, policymakers, and the public to establish these ethical guidelines and safeguards for the development and deployment of these technologies.
It's a reminder that progress in technology needs to be accompanied by progress in our understanding of its impact, both positive and negative.
Well said.
So it's about harnessing the power of these innovations, but making sure that they're used responsibly and ethically.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up today, we've taken a deep dive into the world of image restoration.
We have.
We've explored this groundbreaking benchmark, a really robust data set, and a super efficient model that are all pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting discussion.
It has.
I think we've also, delved into the potential impact of these advancements, highlighting both the incredible opportunities and the ethical challenges that we're facing.
Absolutely. Now, if any of this has sparked your curiosity and you want to learn more, the paper we've been discussing today is called Exploring Real and Synthetic Dataset and Linear Attention in Image Restoration.
Great paper.
It is by Duas et al.
Yep.
Definitely check it out if you're interested in AI and image processing.
And as always, stay curious, stay informed, and keep asking those important questions.
Until next time, happy exploring.